So this one's going to be more speculative because it's well, first of all, I use AI to help me form the script, and it's very pro-Zionist, so it didn't really help. But my main point, or my main evidence, and the prophetic, substantive evidence that I have is the USSR. And if you know anything about the founding of the USSR, it is Jewish in nature. Um, Lenin, Yagoda, Trotsky, a lot of those figureheads of the early Soviet days were Jews, and they were financed by Jewish banking interests. Max Warburg and that whole, um, United Stateside faction of banking that instituted the Federal Reserve. J.P. Morgan and Rothschild's agents and stuff. They did finance the Red Revolution that killed Nicholas II, his family, and instituted the commissars and um, fundamentally changed Russia in 1917. And I believe in 1905 they tried, but it failed. But yeah, USSR was Jewish, and the various other kingdoms that Jews had, from Saul to Solomon. It was 80 years. Um, the kingdom of Judah was destroyed, um, but it did last longer than 80 years. Um, the Hasmonean dynasty lasted roughly 80 years before the Rome came in. And the Bar Kokhba revolt, was, I mean, that's what it says here. That was like a few years. That wasn't that notable in this um, discussion. While some Jews were influential in early Bolshevism, the USSR was not a Jewish state. They say that, but the whole premise of it being Marxism, it was that that revolutionary spirit that culminated in this class struggle that came from Judaism. And not only was Marx a rabbi, but, um, I won't attribute all the bad things that happened under the Red Banner to Jews. I'm not going to say that. But I will say I do fundamentally believe the USSR was a Jewish kingdom or empire because of its founding, and that's very crucial. Just like you could say the United States is a Masonic, now whether you define that as being Jewish or not, the United States was a Masonic foundation, and similar to Masonry, this USSR being Jewish. Um, and what got me thinking about this was just where Israel is right now. They're so ostracized from the world community, and they're so likely to be. They're just going to continue to be ostracized, and they're scaling. They're just continuously pushing for the war with Iran. They're so um, alienated from the world community that nobody's. They're losing legitimacy, not just in in sentiment, but in the UN, and the world community sees them as illegitimate. And even their previous allies are becoming taking a step back because it's so fringe, and what they're doing is just unacceptable. Nobody can co-sign it. I mean, the United States is trying to, and you see what's happening on the college campuses. And this would just be the perfect time for something to reveal itself, and their country will soon cease to exist. And now I don't wish. I mean, in a certain sense, I would hope they find a two-state solution or just stop committing a genocide. Um, but it is the perfect breeding ground for um, um, what would you call it? A fracture of the state, or just something where the state no longer the Likud or whatever. It's not the Jewish state anymore, and it dissolves because of their external conflicts. Um, yeah, yeah. This is losing a little steam because I didn't really pre-read this script because um, it's not the most insightful, but yeah, I did give a few examples, and yeah, I do think Israel will not exist past 2028. And here's a more speculative or more conspiratorial view on it. When Jesus came, they said, "We were waiting for the Messiah. He came and they rejected him." So God will not ordain more than 80 years for their states, whether it was uh, acquired through subterfuge or legitimate means. Nonetheless, though, it just God doesn't allow it. So that's my personal belief on it. So this is a shorter one, but yeah, don't be so. This is more of a prophetic video, and I hope it ages well. But yeah, I don't think Israel will be around in 4 years. Yeah.